This is a sitting body mindfulness exercise. We'll be practicing mindfulness while we are maintaining certain poses from a seated position. We will be exploring the sensations that we feel in each posture. Through this, we will be developing flexibility and mastery in our practice of mindfulness. Each pose will be held for about the time it takes to take 6 deep breaths. As I go through this, I am mindful of the limits of my body. If pain or something else causes me to feel like I can't go on, that's okay. I stop, or I can take a break and resume. I can also make adjustments to my body so that I can come back within its limits. If I feel comfortable enough to be with these sensations, then I don't try to change them. I explore them mindfully, without judgment, and with curiosity. And if I notice that my attention starts to wander, then I just gently bring my attention back to my body without any judgment. Let's begin. I'm seated on a chair and the bottom of my feet are on the ground. My body is erect but comfortable, dignified but relaxed. My toes and my knees are pointed ahead of me, and my hands are on my lap, palms down. My neck and my head are aligned with the center of my body. It feels balanced on my neck, and it doesn't feel tilted or leaning in any direction. And my back is not leaning against the back of the chair. I'm breathing comfortably and naturally, and I notice the sensations I have in this position. I'm not applying tension or stretching to any particular part of my body, so I ought to feel pretty relaxed. But I may not feel completely relaxed everywhere. And I notice this, and I let myself be with those sensations. And I don't judge them as good or bad. They're just there. And from that initial position, I lift my arms and hands up in the air so that they're pointed directly up at the sky. And I do my best to align my arms with my back so that it feels like my body is forming a pole. My arms are more or less aligned with my ears, and I notice the sensations I have in this position. Some tension or stretching around my neck and shoulders, probably. And I breathe comfortably and naturally, and I let myself be with whatever sensations arise, and I don't try to judge or change them. And when I'm ready, I bring my hands back down to my lap, and I breathe comfortably and naturally. And I notice the sensations I have in my body now. And even though I'm back in my initial seated position, I may notice I don't feel the same now as I felt then. And I acknowledge the sensations I have, and I let myself be with them without judgment. And I also note the way I feel in other parts of my body, the way it feels with the bottom of my foot against the floor, the way it feels with my back erect, and my neck and my head are balanced. And now I lift my arms so that they're pointed ahead of me at about shoulder height. My elbows are straight and my arms are aligned with my shoulders. And I maintain this position as I breathe comfortably and naturally. And I notice the sensations that I have. Probably feel something in my shoulders. I note my back as it's erect, my fingers, my wrists. Take a moment to see the way the bottom of my feet feel against the floor again. And I let myself be with my body without judgment. And when I'm ready, I bring my hands back down to my lap, back to my initial seated position. And I breathe comfortably and naturally. And I notice the sensations that are present in the different parts of my body. And yet again, I might notice that even though this is the same initial position I started with at the very beginning, the sensations I have are different. And I acknowledge this and I let myself be with them. Now I'm going to be moving my head around my neck. I breathe comfortably and naturally, and I stay attentive to the sensations I have, particularly around my neck, my shoulders, my jaw, and the area just below there. And with my head starting in an erect position, I tilt it to my left as though I'm trying to touch my left shoulder with my left ear. And I only go as far as I can without inducing pain. I respect the limits of my body. There should be some tension and stretching, but not pain. And I breathe comfortably and naturally as I notice the sensations that I have on the inner part of my neck where it's bent, and on the other side of my neck, maybe in one shoulder or the other, on the upper and lower back. Now I tilt my head to the other side, to the right side, and I feel like I'm trying to touch my right shoulder with my right ear. And again, I respect the limits of my body. I don't go beyond some tension or stretching. I don't want to induce pain. And I breathe comfortably and naturally, and I notice the sensations in my body. And I just let myself be with those sensations. Next, I bring my head back up to the center and I slowly lower my chin toward my chest as far as the limits of my body will let me. I breathe comfortably and naturally And I notice the sensations of stretching and tension and relaxation. And I just let myself be with them, and I don't try to change them. And I breathe comfortably and naturally. And when I'm ready, I bring my head back up to an upright and centered position. And I bring my torso, my shoulders, my chest, and my back also into an upright and erect position in a dignified but relaxed kind of posture. And my head feels balanced, not tilted in any direction. And now that I'm back in this initial seated position, I note the sensations that I have in the various parts of my body. And now I raise my right hand and arm straight up at the sky, erect with the rest of my body. And then I reach with that right hand over to the left, over my left shoulder, and tilting my body in that direction. And I maintain this position as I breathe comfortably and naturally, and I stay within the limits of my body. And I make adjustments as necessary to stay there. And I notice the sensations that I have in the various parts of my body. Any tension, stretching, discomfort. And when I'm ready, I bring that hand back down to my lap. And now I raise my left hand straight up into the sky. It should be more or less aligned with my left ear. And I tilt my body to the right. I bring that left hand pointing at the sky, and I kind of bring it over my right shoulder. And then I feel that stretch, any tension or a little bit of discomfort. And I hold that position as I breathe comfortably and naturally. And whatever sensations that are there, I let myself be with them without judgment, without trying to change them. And when I'm ready, I bring that hand back down to my lap, and I sit again in an upright and erect position. Next, while I maintain a relatively upright and erect torso, I bring my left knee up to my chest, and I lock my fingers of my two hands together and use my hands and my arms to keep that knee in place. I can use some thigh muscles. I can engage them to support that knee so it stays up. And I breathe comfortably and naturally and stay within the limits of my body if there's anything that's really out of the ordinary that you're feeling. And I notice the sensations that are there. And I bring my left foot back down to the floor, and now I raise my right knee toward my chest, and again I use my hands and my arms to support the knee so that it stays in place, and I can use some of my leg strength to support that knee as well. And I notice the sensations that I have, how my back feels, and how my knee or my ankles feel. And I breathe comfortably and naturally and let myself just be with those sensations. And when I'm ready, I bring my right foot down so that it's flat on the ground as well. Next, I place my left fingertips on my left ear and my right fingertips on my right ear. And I lift my arms and have the elbows point directly out to the sides, to the left and to the right. And then I rotate my torso so that my right shoulder points as much to the front as possible. And my right elbow also points in that direction, in the same direction as my knees and feet. And my left shoulder and my left elbow point directly behind me or as close to that as possible. And I maintain that position while I'm respecting my body's limits. I may not be able to turn all the way, so that's okay as well. And I breathe comfortably and naturally, and I note the sensations that I have in my back, and in my shoulders, my elbows. And now I twist my body the other way with my left shoulder and my left elbow turned so that it points directly in front of me or as close to that as possible in the same direction as my knees and my feet. And my right shoulder and right elbow are pointed behind me. And I maintain that position as I breathe comfortably and naturally. And I notice the sensations that are there in the various parts of my body, any stretching or tension or any relaxation if that's there, maybe some mild discomfort. And without judgment that it's good or bad or without trying to change it. And now I bring my body back to center, and my hands I drop in front of my knees, and then I bend my torso forward. I bend at my waist and I reach down so that I try to touch my feet with my fingers. And I only go as far as I can without pain within the limits of my body. And I find that spot and I breathe comfortably and naturally. And then I let myself be with the sensations in my back and shoulders and anywhere else in my body. And finally, I return back to my initial upright, erect, dignified, but comfortable seated position and notice the sensations that I have in my body. And yet again, I may notice that this feels different from when I first started this exercise. And I allow myself to release any tension or stretching in my body to the best that I can. And it's okay if, even though I do that, I still don't feel completely relaxed everywhere. I acknowledge any sensations that I have, and I let myself be with them as I breathe comfortably and naturally. And as I prepare to rejoin the world and resume my daily activities, I reflect on what I've done. I've spent an extended period of time practicing mindfulness, paying close attention to my body and its sensations while holding various positions. And I let myself be with those sensations as they came up without trying to change them or judge them. And I remind myself that I can bring this same kind of mindfulness into the activities of the rest of my day and the rest of my life in a skillful and wise way.